This video is going to be uncovering the truth about this Bitcoin and Ethereum crash and drop that we're seeing right now. And one truth that it's going to hurt right now if you're a trader or investor is that a 5-year-old could have predicted this Bitcoin drop. If you don't believe me, stick through this video and I'll show you exactly how you could have actually seen this coming before it did. So let's get started. So let me just start off by saying this. Everybody is a genius looking back in hindsight. Everybody can give you a good explanation and tell you why something happened only after it happened. So what I'm trying to do right now is draw a fine line between two types of people. One, there's the guy who claims to be an expert who somehow knows everything and he can tell you why something happened after it happened, right? Then you ask him, hey, did you make money on that, buddy? He's like, so that's one guy. Second guy is the guy who actually calls the shots before it happens, okay? So do you want to be the guy who goes and tells the story, goes and runs around and tells you the news? Or do you want to be the guy who calls the shit before it happens, like we do on this channel, okay? You decide for yourself, but if you're someone who wants to be in control of your trading and see things before they happen so you can actually fucking profit off of it, this video is for you. Let me show you how you could have predicted this Bitcoin drop before it happened. So when you're looking at this chart right here, Bitcoin, and again, guys, once again, we're going to block out the news, block out fundamentals. We don't care what you think. We don't care if you think Bitcoin's going to 75,000. You think I'm an idiot. The bull run's not over, right? Whatever you think doesn't matter. Throw out what you think. Let's go off of facts for once, okay? Because everyone wants to point out Elon Musk this, Elon Musk that, bull run not over, right? A bunch of people have been saying the bull run wouldn't stop and wouldn't end until December of this year. Okay, and I find that to be ridiculous, okay? Because think about it. If everyone thinks the same thing, right? If everyone thinks the crash is going to happen in December, why the fuck would it happen in December? Okay, serious question, guys. When has a crash ever happened when everyone expected it to happen? That's never happened. Crashes never happen when people expect them to happen. So another thing, if everyone thinks it's going to happen in December, everyone's going to fucking sell in November. And if everyone thinks it's going to happen in December and then they're selling it in November, then you're going to have everyone selling in fucking October. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. Why would anyone think this and actually believe this, right? And so that's probably where this guy was coming from with this 75K bull run not over. And I think it's hilarious because once again, I've heard so many people, spit out this narrative and story that the bull run won't end for a long time. And whether that's true or not, the fact is Bitcoin and Ethereum are both crashing right now. So how could you predict that before it happened without the news, without the stupid narratives? I'm going to show you right now. Let's get into it. So when you're first new to trading, you probably don't know how to read a chart. So what I'm actually going to show you is how to predict these trades with charts. Now, a lot of guys are going to claim that charts don't work. That's total BS. As a matter of fact, some of my best years trading came from when I didn't look at the news, didn't look at fundamentals, and I only went off of the charts. I'm telling you guys, if you have not learned how to read charts, you're totally missing out on the most important part of trading. As a matter of fact, if you told me, Alex, you have one tool to use when you're trading, you can choose between charts, fundamentals, or news catalysts. Okay, I'm going with charts any day of the week, any day of the year, any day of my life. Okay, and I'll show you why right now. So how could you have seen this Bitcoin drop coming before it happened? Once again, when you're new, you don't really know what's going on. All you see is red candlesticks, green candlesticks. Maybe you know what support and resistance is, right? And this is really basic stuff. This is what, you could teach a 5-year-old to draw up resistance, right? So a lot of guys are going to act like they know so much, that they're so proficient because they know what a support and resistance level is. And I can't believe people watch videos like this out there on YouTube. Okay, so it might sound like I'm ranting a little, but I'm trying to make a point right now. There is so much you probably don't know about these charts, and I'm about to show you one thing that's literally going to elevate your game to the next level if you don't know how to read charts like a pro yet. Okay, so when you're looking at this, what do you see? Honest question. What pattern do you see? If you know what the pattern is, go ahead and comment that down below. Now, if you don't know, you can either let me know down below and say, hey, look, I don't know what the pattern is. You're about to, pull out some Pablo Picasso shit, aren't you, Alex? And I'm actually, yeah, that's exactly what I'm about to do, okay? So to the untrained eye, it just looks like a bunch of candles, maybe a moving average, right? Maybe it looks like an uptrend, maybe it looks like a downtrend, depending on how you look at it, right? But to the trained eye, to the person who knows how to read charts, you see what's going on here, right? It's a head and shoulders formation. Now, obviously, we've made videos on the channel about this. I'll actually recommend some of the most helpful head and shoulders videos we have on this channel. But if you're wondering, okay, I knew it. Pablo Picasso is over here drawing on the charts. Okay, and a lot of people, once again, they're gonna dislike this video and they're gonna say that chart patterns don't work. Okay, but charts, they're facts, right? This is a fact that the shoulder that Bitcoin price is at 59,000, right? So just bear with me here if you are a closed-minded person. But if you're already open-minded, this is gonna be super helpful for you, and I'm gonna explain it here. Okay, so you might be thinking, what is so significant about a head and shoulders formation here? Well, first thing you need to know about the head and shoulders is it is a sign of a reversal and momentum slowdown. Okay, so when you see the head and shoulders formation, basically what that's telling you is that the stock, commodity, whatever it is, I mean, I don't care if it's a chart of toilet paper, lumber, okay, it is showing signs of a top. Okay, it is showing signs of a gas out, or it's running out of gas. Okay, does that make sense? So that's the first thing. When you think head and shoulders, think first off bearish, and number two, think running out of gas. Those are the two key words that should be coming to your mind when you think of a head and shoulders. Second, a head and shoulders is often going to appear at the end of an uptrend. Okay, this is super important to understand, because when you see huge bullish runs like this followed by a head and shoulders, that's exactly how you start to get the clue that it's running out of gas, right? So, we just went over three main characteristics of the head and shoulders that I hope you wrote down. And if you didn't, you're probably going to forget them, okay? So I'll repeat it again. 1, it's a sign of a momentum slowdown. 2, it usually comes at the end of an uptrend. And 3 is a high probability setup for a reversal. So if you remember those 3 points, I mean, trust me, you're going to make so much money within the next 10 years of trading this pattern after I break it down to you in this video. So actually getting back to another helpful video that's going to be really helpful for you if you're trying to learn more about this pattern, is go back and watch this video 6 days ago on the gold futures prediction. You're going to see exactly how we nailed the head and shoulders reversal on gold the other day. Okay, so this pattern comes up all the time. It's super helpful, and it's going to make you a lot of money if you learn it and nail it and understand the characteristics. Okay, because that's a problem with traders, is a lot of people don't understand the characteristics. They just trade a pattern. Okay, now a pattern without context, a pattern without understanding of what's actually going on, like understanding that we have rising interest rates right now, that's not going to be nearly as effective as if you understand your macroeconomics, right? If you understand what's actually going on in the world, right? So that's where understanding the chart pattern and combining that with news catalysts is going to make you that much more deadly. As a trader, you're going to be a sharpshooter, just like we are on this channel. If you see all our videos, guys, this is how we're nailing trades all the time, and hardly ever do we ever miss a trade. I mean, go back and watch your videos. I'm telling the truth when I say that, right? So boom, head and shoulders pattern. Remember, when you first open this chart, a lot of people don't even realize that, okay? Second, how do you actually make a calculation and use this chart to your advantage? Okay, let's actually go over this. So what you need to understand about the head and shoulders is that the shoulder is basically a resistance level, which everyone knows is something you could teach a 5-year-old, right? So you're not special if you know what a resistance level is. So boom, resistance level is going to be right here at the top of the shoulder. You see how, okay, it breaks out a little here, but really you got a rejection 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. So that's going to be your resistance of the left shoulder. Now, if you actually look at the right shoulder, look at that. It actually perfectly coincides with that previous resistance level. Look at that. 1, boom. 2 drop, boom. Okay, so what the shoulder is, it's just a representation of what we were talking about, right? A momentum slowdown and high probability reversal opportunity. Okay, so next I told you I was going to talk about how to make a calculation and target from a head and shoulders pattern. Now, this is where a lot of people don't actually know how to do this. Okay, so remember, obviously, we've already broken through the head and shoulders here, right? We're trying to show you how you would have done this before it happened, okay? So take a look. The next part we're actually going to be drawing up here, Picasso style, is called the neckline, okay? This is basically the support for the head and shoulders pattern, okay? So this is going to be the neckline right here. Okay, so you can see we get support here, 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 and we break through the support of the neckline, and that's where you see the major drop happen. As a matter of fact, look at this major gap down in the futures over the weekend, right? Look at that. So when you finally break through the neckline, how do you make the calculation and quantify the downside? How do you actually measure how far you can drop? And this is where, a lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to show you this. So take a look at this. What you want to do is draw a line from the peak of the head. Draw it straight down to the neckline. Okay, you can see, look up over here in the top left, you can see that it is a 17,000 point move and a 26% drop. We're going to draw that line right there. So from the peak, I actually didn't get the peak. I'm a little bit off the peak, but just bear with me. It's pretty much the same. It's really close to the peak, okay? I just kind of missed it a little. Okay, so when you draw this line from the peak to the neckline straight down, okay, you're actually going to go ahead, duplicate this drawing, bring it over, okay, to the break of the neckline. Boom. That is your calculation of where you're likely headed within this head and shoulders formation. So basically, to quantify the magnitude of the drop, you want to take the peak of the head down to the neckline, and this same magnitude is usually how low the drop is going to be in the head and shoulders. Okay, so let me actually demonstrate this with a couple of other examples that have actually fully taken place, okay? So guys, this is something that people don't show you, is how to quantify the magnitude. And if that, that's got to be the most important thing you take away from this video. So your target would be 32,000 on Bitcoin, which is pretty much perfectly aligned with 30,000. Okay, now if I actually took this calculation from the peak of Bitcoin, you can see I drew the line like a little bit off the top here. Okay, pretty much matches up perfectly with the support in Bitcoin, which is 30,000. Okay, so this is how you know, okay, it's not just some BS calculation. This calculation perfectly coincides with the bottom and the beginning of the run-up in Bitcoin. So that's how you actually measure the magnitude, guys. That is huge. Now, obviously, Bitcoin has not dropped all the way down to 32,000, so you might think it's a little ridiculous. You might think I'm crazy. Okay, but let's actually go through some examples so you can see the calculation, or not, this is not necessarily a calculation, but it's a way to calculate the magnitude, right? So let's actually go, you see this head and shoulders, which we nailed on the channel 6 days ago, and this gold drop that we predicted, okay? It was a head and shoulders formation. Now, once again, look at this. This is beautiful because we just went over the key characteristics of a head and shoulders, right? So look at this. You have a major run-up, major uptrend, followed by what? Running out of gas, momentum slowdown, and reversal. It's all about the characteristics, okay? So boom, you've got the left shoulder, resistance here, right shoulder, resistance here, head right there, right? But let's draw up the neckline, okay? So take a look at this. We're going to go from the neckline, which is right about here, and draw that over. Boom. Okay, so this is the neckline, and this is the peak of the head. What we're going to do is literally go right here. We're going to draw up this line from the head down to the neckline. Boom, we've got it. And then we're going to go ahead and duplicate the drawing. We're going to bring that down. Look at this, the break of the neckline. Look, do you see this, guys? See how close that is to the bottom? Now let's actually change the color so you can better see this here. Okay, pretty much perfectly coincides with the magnitude of the drop. It's about, okay, so it measures a drop to 1820. It actually ends up dropping to 1817.7. So literally 2.3 points off was the magnitude of the head and shoulder trick that I've just shown you here. Okay, so pretty sweet stuff there. Now we're actually going to get into another one just to show you that sometimes the drops can be way worse than you think. Okay, so do you remember this drop that came recently in the S&P 500? Guess what? This was a head and shoulders formation. Now, it's a little hard to tell on a 30-minute chart here because it just recently happened, but you're just going to have to trust me, and I do think you can still see it. It's just not as evident. On a 5-day, 5-minute chart, this is much more transparent, much more easy to tell, but just bear with me here. Maybe you don't believe me, maybe you do. I don't really care what you think. I've shown you a great example in the gold, and you're about to see the great example in Bitcoin, and trust me, guys, we know how to freaking make these trades. So I mean, if you don't want to listen, you don't listen. I don't care. So you got the left shoulder here, you've got the right shoulder here. Do you see this? So obviously the neckline is the support of the head and shoulders, and by the way, the head was up here, and you can't really tell, right? Because once again, this is so it's a 30-minute chart, and so what you're not realizing is, okay, this is 42.17, 42.16. The head and the peak was at 42.37. So that's a 20-point difference. That's a lot of points, right? But because it had such a major drop, you can't really tell because the scaling of the chart, right, doesn't really clearly and show you, represent the head and shoulders here. Okay, but let's just go with me here. We're gonna go draw the neckline, which is pretty much right there. Just the support of the shoulders, right? It's what's holding up the shoulder levels. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and draw the calculation from the peak of the head. You can see it says the high of days right there. Draw that down. Boom. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this. No, accidentally drew that. We're going to duplicate this drawing right here. Bring that down. And the drop ends up being way worse than what the head and shoulders would typically be. Okay, now obviously this was catalyzed by inflation data and other things, but still, right? A huge breakthrough that ends up exceeding expectations, and that's what you might see in Bitcoin. Because remember, Bitcoin is subject to over 50% corrections, right? We've seen it go from 20,000 to 30,000. Well, this is very reasonable because think about this, guys. Think about the math here, right? So obviously, I know it looks like we're just drawing some bullshit on a chart sometimes is what some people think, okay? But think about this. This makes sense, okay? So 65,000, what's a 50% correction? Holy crap, it's 30,000, right? 32,000. So remember, when Bitcoin usually corrects 50%, guess what? This chart pattern already shows us that without having to know that Bitcoin drops 50% usually, right? Now, if Bitcoin ends up going like 20,000 to 3,000, right? That's what, 70% correction? Okay, then you could see if we draw from the peak, and once again, I'm not saying this is going to happen. You never know. But a 70% drawdown would be down to 19,000. And look at that, 20,000. So look at this. Remember when we dropped from 20,000 to 3,000, it was about a 70% correction-ish, right? Well, look at this, a 70% correction from 65,000 down here would literally drop us to 20,000, which would literally be a retest of 20,000 that we saw earlier before the major run up in Bitcoin, right? So this is incredible stuff. By using percentages, right, you understand that, okay, if you drop from 20,000 to 3,000, it's about a 70% drop. If we drop 70%, it's literally to the base of 20,000, if you're following me. And if we drop based on the head and shoulders calculation, you're going to drop down to 32,000, right? So a lot of people might be buying this dip, and I'd say it's not safe whatsoever. So guys, hopefully this is eye-opening. I hope I could show you how to make some actual targets and estimates. Now, 70% is a very aggressive estimate, right? So in most cases, you're not going to drop 70%, right? But we have seen it with Bitcoin, right? We've seen it drop from 20,000 to 3,000. So just putting out there, this target as a possibility, although 32,000 is much more likely. And obviously, if you watched our video, we gave you a $39,000 price target, which is pretty much inevitable, as you can see. Literally, since making that video 24 hours ago, we dropped literally from 51,000 down to now 42,600. Guys, that's a 17% drop since we posted this video literally just 24 hours ago. So guys, I know what you've just seen. I know what I've shown you might seem a little foreign, might seem a little out there. But guys, this is what separates you from the rest, because guess what? The rest aren't doing this. The rest don't know this. So I hope this was super eye-opening and helpful for you. If you're a trader, I promise you what I've shown you in this video can literally make you so much money if you actually take advantage of these opportunities when you see them. So, obviously my modest price target of 39,000, I did that to not offend people and not, hurt anyone's feelings. Because look, I mean, it does hurt people's feelings, right? I mean, people get very defensive. You got guys saying, "You idiot, this is going to 75K, the bull run's not over," right? And you just got guys saying, like, look, you think this guy knows what he's talking about? Look at him, RSI near all-time low. Oh, so it's all about the RSI. So I guess, guys, if we just look at the RSI, I guess we'll know where Bitcoin's going to drop, right? Look at that. Oh, it's so oversold. Yeah, that shit can continue to sell off, okay? So, don't think that because you think you understand what the RSI is. Guys, it's not just about the RSI here, okay? So much more that I just shown you, and there's a ton more I could show you as well. But, guys, this has been, like, what, 17-minute video? I highly doubt many people even made it to the end here, but if you did, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. And, there's so many more chart patterns you got to learn. There's so many things that you're probably not seeing, right? So if this video was eye-opening to you, if you feel like you learned a lot in this video, if you feel like, I showed you something you haven't seen before, there's so much more to learn, okay? Okay, and so a lot of people always tell me they know how to read charts, but I guarantee you not one of you guys knows how to read a chart like I do. That's not to be cocky, but guys, there's a reason I'm posting these trades and you're watching them, right? And that's not to be cocky, but trust me, if you want to get to that next level, in this trading course where we go over the charts, I mean, that's where I show you how to do it all. And that's why you see our students have so much success, because I break down the whole process of identifying these patterns, these trades, and literally look at our student results. In the last 3 months, guys, there's a reason we have this many student results. It's because what we show and what we do, it fucking works, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I said I hope this helps you. No, I know this is going to help you in your trading career if you actually stay through this video. So guys, let me know if you made it to the end, because that's why I do this, man. And it makes me so happy when guys are actually going to take advantage of the information, put it to use, and come out on top, because once again, this pattern alone will make you thousands. So look, I hope you guys understand. Yeah, we have paid memberships, okay, but we also give you so much value in the free content, okay? So, guys, at the end of the day, I hope this video could help you. And if you have any questions and you want to actually go in further detail, maybe break down some other charts, some other patterns, or some of the trades you've struggled with recently, guys, you can schedule a free 20-minute call with me. And so once again, we have paid memberships, we have paid offers, but I also give so much for free. And so if you need help, please don't be shy, reach out, and I promise you, what's the worst that can happen? First off, it's free. So can you lose money on this call? No. And what's the worst that can happen? You learn a thing or two? Damn, you know what? That actually sounds pretty bad. You know what? Don't schedule a 20-minute call. That sounds too bad. It just don't do it. Who would schedule a 20-minute call to actually learn something new and actually get some help in whatever they may need? Oh, don't do it. It sounds horrific. But that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you made it to the end. Can't wait to talk to some of you. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.